If you picture a high-end watch collector, you probably imagine pristine dials locked inside a climate-controlled vault, protected primarily for their financial resale value. But if you look at the collection of retired Navy SEAL Dave Hall, you find scratched crystals, Velcro straps that smell faintly of dried seawater, and dials with Middle Eastern desert dust still wedged into the crevices. Over a 21-year career in the military, Hall deployed 9 times, enduring 5 combat tours and a catastrophic physical injury. A watch is a mechanical tool designed to track the forward march of time. But for an elite operator, that ticking dial can stop being a measurement of seconds and start functioning as an immovable coordinate in their personal history. To a combat veteran, these objects are completely detached from financial speculation. They function as physical save points, heavy, ticking anchors that tether a man to the specific, unforgiving moments he managed to survive. In the mid-1980s, global terrorism escalated rapidly. High-profile hijackings and coordinated shootings left victims and Christmas packages strewn across terminal floors in Rome and Vienna. For a teenager in Virginia Beach named Dave Hall, watching this unfold on the nightly news was the catalyst to enlist. His first exposure to the military was watching local frogmen train in the surf. Wanting to emulate them, Hall took a pocket of lawn mowing cash to a local pawn shop and bought the watch he saw on all of their wrists, a utilitarian Seiko 6309. This photograph shows the brutal physical conditioning required during BUDS, the military pipeline to become a SEAL. Trainees limp arms and endure the freezing surf zone to break down their individual limits and forge a unit. Hall made it through. A few years later, he graduated from the military's elite sniper school. When legendary Vietnam-era sniper Carlos Hathcock handed Hall his diploma, that same Seiko 6309 was strapped to his wrist, marking his peak achievement. As Hall integrated into the teams, he bought a Tudor Submariner out of a surplus box for $150. Back then, SEALs were instructed to immediately rip off the heavy stainless steel bracelets and replace them with cheap nylon straps. A broken steel pin during an aggressive boat drop meant losing the watch to the dark ocean floor. Stripped of its luxury trappings, the Tudor operated purely as a tribal identifier. If you walked into a bar and saw that watch modified on a nylon strap, you immediately recognized the wearer as an initiated frogman. By 1986, Hall's life was expanding beyond the military. To celebrate the birth of his first child, he splurged on a high-end analog Omega Seamaster. He put it to work immediately. As a jump master in the late 90s, Hall used the Omega's precise mechanical chronograph functions to calculate speed and distance during tactical freefall deployments over southern Spain. That era of deliberate, specialized training ended abruptly on the morning of September 11, 2001. Hall was on pre-deployment leave with his family in Minnesota, but was immediately recalled, catching the first available flight back to Virginia Beach to deploy. The military had to rapidly adapt. The tactical playbook developed in the jungles of Vietnam was suddenly obsolete, replaced by the immediate, high-tempo necessities of the global war on terror. The gear evolved right alongside the tactics. Operators largely stopped wearing their personal analog watches into the field. Instead, teams began issuing Casio G-Shocks, cheap, disposable digital watches that could take the relentless beating of constant deployments and helicopter rides without burning up a soldier's personal property. The mechanical heirlooms were left at home. The adoption of rugged, unpretentious digital screens perfectly mirrored the military's shift into the gritty, utilitarian reality of endless modern warfare. In 2003, Hall transitioned to a specialized unit operating SEAL delivery vehicles, miniature submersibles used for stealth beach insertions. For this niche work, he was issued a Suunto M9, an early GPS watch originally designed for ocean yacht racing. This image captures the hazy, debris-filled environment of urban Iraq in 2004. Hall was pulled into this exact setting to protect the interim Iraqi government, leading a small sniper team to stop enemy mortar fire. The mission quickly escalated. Hall's small team found themselves surrounded in a 360-degree urban gunfight. Dozens of incoming RPGs struck their building, and massive vehicle-borne IEDs detonated in the streets right next to their position, filling the floors with thick black soot. From an adjoining rooftop, an enemy fighter managed to throw a grenade that landed right in the middle of Hall's sniper team. Wearing 65 pounds of armor and weapons, Hall leapt off his concrete platform to avoid the blast. The impact of the landing pulverized his knee, leaving his lower right leg 90. Hall and his team held their ground and kept returning Sire for 2.5 hours until a quick reaction force could extract them. The Sunto watch strapped to his wrist during that firefight was built to track geographic coordinates, but that day it absorbed the shock, the dust, and the exact hour Hall's career as a field operator ended, and his long recovery began. Hall survived the rooftop. After a lengthy medical retirement, he immediately pivoted, taking his operational experience to the Army Research Lab to help develop better tactics and gear for the teams still fighting. By 2009, he was back in the Iraqi war zone for a third time. Now standing in the desert on a prosthetic leg, he wore a newly acquired German SIN watch, marking his return to the arena in a completely new role. This timeline plots Dave Hall's identity through his hardware. We start with the Seiko of his youth, the Tudor initiating him, and the Omega marking fatherhood. The line extends. The G-Shock tracks his combat, the Suento marks his injury, and the SIN bridges into physical rebirth. When you look at a collection built this way, you realize that true collecting has absolutely nothing to do with hoarding luxury items in a dark safe. The objects we strap to our wrists during our most extreme trials serve as tangible, heavy proof of our survival. They are the physical evidence of the hours we didn't think we'd make it through.